In the year 2065, the world stood on the precipice of annihilation. The Euphrates River, once a cradle of civilization, bore witness to a cataclysmic moment that would echo through the ages. With a single, shattering instant, Israel unleashed a nuclear warhead above its ancient waters. A blinding flash seared the sky, and in its wake, life along the great river withered to ash, boiling into steam before it could comprehend the horror unfolding. The land that had once thrived was now haunted by the specter of famine, a grim shadow stalking the ruins of what was called Persia. Decades of tension had simmered since the Iranian Revolution of 1979, leading to countless shadow strikes exchanged beneath the watchful eyes of global powers. But it was the year 2025 that ignited the flame with Operation Rising Lion, an audacious endeavor to stifle the Iranian threat once and for all. 4 decades of fury followed, a relentless cycle of violence that would boil over into the inferno of World War III. As the clock struck midnight across the globe, an iron host emerged. Moscow, Beijing, Pyongyang, and Tehran formed an unyielding alliance, their armies, 200 million strong, marching westward, boots finding purchase where the Euphrates had once flowed. The banners of war rippled beneath a crimson sky, a chilling harbinger of the doom that awaited. Across the Atlantic, the United States and NATO rallied behind Israel, forging a fractured European Union into a collective shield. Battle lines coiled across 3 continents, steel clashing against steel, fires staining the earth with the blood of the innocent. In the marble halls of the United Nations in New York, the last voice of mercy rose amidst the chaos. The Pope, Peter III, stood alone, pleading for peace. But even the most fervent prayers were silenced in an instant when a warhead blossomed over Vatican City, transforming white stone into glass and saints into whispers carried on a wind of flame. NATO hastily whisked the Pope to Jerusalem, seeking refuge for the last remnant of hope. On the sacred grounds of Mount Moriah, where a glinting third temple now stood, Peter II beheld the lambs, sacrificed anew on the altars of desperation. The old prophecies stirred like restless spirits, and on June 6, 2066, the noon bells tolled a haunting melody. As the pontiff entered the temple's inner court, he lifted his voice, a thunderous proclamation that shook the very foundations of nations. I am Alpha and Omega, God among men. Israel's priests fell to their knees. A collective gasp echoed through the assembled throng, followed by a swell of applause that reverberated across the globe. Rome lay in ruins. Europe bowed before the new power, and the Pope crowned the House of Windsor as the worldly throne, declaring the European Union as Peter's empire. Jerusalem emerged as the planetary capital, NATO his sword. A single decree followed, currency transformed into digital whispers, and all flesh must bear an RFID sigil, a mark of allegiance to the new order. On Ash Wednesday, the multitude streamed toward Zion, obedient and entranced. Above them, Project Bluebeam painted the heavens with swirling tongues of every language, an ethereal display that captivated the masses. An image of the pontiff loomed in the skies, his mouth moving, eyes burning with an unholy fire. The people, swayed by the spectacle, swore allegiance as needles pierced their skin. To prove his divinity, Peter called upon a secret weapon, DEW, a directed energy weapon that lanced from orbit, columns of light roaring down, melting stone like wax. The crowds cried, "Jesu, Jesu," their reflections flickering in augmented halos. But far to the south, at Mount Sinai, the war raged on. NATO divisions clashed with the Eastern Colossus. Russia, Iran, China, and North Korea locked in a valley of smoke and shattered drones. 3.5 bitter years crawled by, and then without warning, the sun failed. Noon turned to pitch, a blood-red moon bled across the sky, and stars tumbled like sparks from a dying forge. Heaven itself split open, the vault of sky rolling away like parchment, revealing a voice older than the oceans. Behold, I am King of kings and Lord of lords, it thundered through every soul, soldier and civilian alike. I summoned you to this valley to judge the violence of your hearts. Warriors dropped their rifles, generals forgot their names, and even Pope Peter felt the weight of eternity press upon his stolen throne. Mountains groaned, cities crumbled, and the great armies of east and west were swallowed by dust, consumed by the armies from heaven. The world heard the thundering voice proclaim, "Your kingdom's end. My mercy remains for those who seek it." Mystery Babylon the Great has fallen. As the vision faded to black, there were no banners, no bombs, only the distant sound of the wind across a newborn earth. Survivors awakened to a singular question. What now? This was the beginning of the 1,000-year reign of Christ, and each soul must answer alone.